Welcome, everybody. We are here with Alon Leichman, the new Marlins pitching coach. He's here from Israel. He was in the Olympics with Team Israel, and he's got a lot of great, not only stories to tell us about his life, but a lot of just inspire us about his life journey. So, first of all, Alon, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. So Alon, let's just talk about your life a little bit. Where you come from in Israel, how you were drawn to baseball, and all of the things that you're drawn to. Just give us the background.
Yeah, so actually born in the States.
Okay.
But yeah, some of my friends give me a hard time for it. Uh, because my parents came from the States to Israel in the 70s.
Okay.
Separately, kind of met over there. Did Aliyah over there, met on the kibbutz where I'm from, Kibbutz Gezer.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and then my older sister, older brother were born in Israel, and then my dad got a job with the Jewish agency, like Shlichut, for 2 years
Okay.
in Boston. So I was born the last month of the Shlichut.
Oh,
Um,
cool. Okay. So you just made the American
yeah,
cutoff.
yeah. So my friends give me a hard time for it for not being a true
You're
Israeli, you
right. You're
know.
not real Israeli.
So after a month, family went back to the kibbutz. So grew up there. It's a kibbutz that was founded by Americans in the 70s. So my parents were um, pretty much one of the first waves to come and start the kibbutz from zero, really. Um,
Okay.
and one of the things they wanted to do was give the kids, the next generation, a bit of their culture. So they used to play softball, fast pitch softball.
Oh,
Um,
both of them were softball players?
I mean, not on the kibbutz, they just kind of pick up stuff,
Right. Okay.
really just for fun on a Friday afternoon or something like that. And then that led to the kibbutz built a baseball field, a
Okay.
softball field, really. It was the
Okay.
first one in Israel.
The
Um,
first softball field in the whole Israel?
yeah, yeah,
Really?
um, yeah. I mean, to this day, there's like three in the whole country. You know,
Wow, you don't think about that kind of thing. That's
yeah.
so
So
your parents were involved in the very first baseball field or softball field
I mean,
in
it happened to be that that's where I'm from. Actually, happened to be that my dad was what we called Merakez Biniyat. He was in charge of building at the time
okay.
on the kibbutz. So that project came along when he was in charge of building. So they built the field in '83, and he had a big piece in that. But really, the how I got to baseball is because I was kind of born into it. All the kids on the kibbutz were playing, all the older kids. So it wasn't anything special to me or my family to get me into baseball necessarily. I just was a
Okay.
kid on the kibbutz that, is 200 people in the kibbutz, and all the kids played baseball, and that's all I really knew. I didn't really know that it wasn't a thing in Israel. It was
How
just,
old were you when you started
I
playing?
mean, I
Little
remember
kid.
going to baseball practice when I was in the kindergarten.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so really like from the
Yeah,
beginning.
but it was just something we did on the kibbutz. And then, as you grow up, you realize like no one outside of the kibbutz knows what baseball is.
That's so funny.
Um,
Oh, so the only reason that people in your kibbutz knew what baseball was because it's mostly founded by Americans.
yeah, exactly.
Ah,
Yeah, so we had like yeah, they would play, and yeah, I think in the '80s, early '80s maybe,
okay.
the softball league was founded. But
Okay.
again, we're talking maybe a few teams in the whole country. So one of the teams was the kibbutz team. So growing up, going to games on the kibbutz, and seeing the younger kids play, I just kind of drawn into it. But really, me and all my other friends. So I guess maybe I liked it more than everyone else. but it wasn't necessarily something like pushed by my family or anything like that. It was just literally everyone around me played. All our parents kind of played. I'm talking literally pickup softball,
Right.
level, nothing crazy. And yeah, we had a baseball practice, a hoop,
Okay.
we call it a hoop,
Yeah.
and it's just part of the stuff we did. So we would do that, play baseball growing up on the kibbutz, and little by little, it became my childhood dream to maybe one day play in the major leagues.
The major leagues in America.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I probably knew about that when I was 6 or something.
Okay. In Israel, were you following American baseball?
So I was, yes. But we didn't have cable because, back then 2 channels, one didn't really work.
How old are you, by the way?
36 in 2 weeks.
So we're about the same age. I'm 39.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
yeah, we didn't have cable or anything like that until I was, I think, 12 or something. But
Okay.
somewhere before cable came internet,
Right, right, right. And
and
you could pick
so
up the right.
yeah, so it's like a few years before the cable came. I remember I'd go to um, a computer on the kibbutz, like not even in my house, to go check the scores before I go to school, kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And
In
also
the geography of Israel, where is Kibbutz Gezer?
right between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv,
Oh, okay.
like by Latron, Ramle, Rehovot,
Rehovot. Okay.
now mini Israel, that area.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, so yeah, that, and then on top of that, so my grandpa used to do half the time in New York, half the time in Israel, because all my relatives live in the States. Just my
Yeah.
my dad and my mom from their side moved to Israel.
Where's everybody else? Everybody else lives in the States, like
Yeah,
whereabouts?
yeah. So my dad's part is New York based, and my mom's
Okay.
part is Detroit based, but not
Oh,
anymore. The Detroit base is kind of
yeah.
all over
Detroit
now.
is not worth to
Yeah,
talk about anymore.
yeah. So back then, my grandpa used to live half the time in New York, half the time in Ramat Sharon. And when he was in New York, it was always playoff time. So he
Mm.
would record the playoffs, and then I don't know, sometime in December or so, he would come back and he'd bring boxes of VCRs. So it just,
Okay.
yeah, I would watch. I was watching the '96 World Series. I was watching, actually, the first one I was watching was '93 World Series, but was watching it in 1996 for the first time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I kind of got into that like that. And just binge watching baseball.
Baseball, baseball.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then that's just like, I want to do that. And so
So cool.
I think that's what sparked my like love for the game so much. Um,
Nice. So it's when you're saying when you started being able to just like watch it and
yeah,
consume it
yeah,
in a big way.
yeah. But
If you had
then
internet when you were a
maybe
kid, you
like,
probably would have been like gung ho for like super into it from the beginning.
yeah, but maybe 6 years after the video tapes, the VCRs, is when I was able to watch, you know, wake up in the middle of the night and watch the games. Um,
Ah, nice.
yeah, yeah.
Very nice.
So, yeah, I just grew a love for baseball, played. When I was 10, I was able to represent Israel for the first time in a European championship in the Netherlands.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, that was
So
cool.
Israel had a base has like a had a baseball team, but didn't have like only but three baseball fields.
Yeah. So I would say, yeah, I mean, most of the games were not really played on baseball fields.
Really?
Yeah, just a piece of grass or a piece of dirt. Honestly, it
So
was,
they were able to like manage and train as a team to like play internationally with like not even a real field?
oh, yeah.
So Israeli. That is
Yeah.
that's so Israeli.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Um, I mean, the baseball field on the kibbutz is a softball field, you know.
Right. So I guess it's not even like regulation
Yeah,
size
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Only I think, if in baseball terms, I think the first time I pitched off a baseball mound was when I was 16 or 17.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
And then wait, and so when were you in were you in the Olympics representing Israel? That was, I guess, more recently.
yeah. So I was, fast forward, all my teenage years, I was in Israel every year, every other year. There's a European championship of some sort. Played there, then did the army. And
Okay.
when I was done in the army, I got an opportunity to go play in the States,
Oh,
college ball.
nice.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh, amazing.
yeah. I got an opportunity to do that, which was also like a childhood dream. I always thought, I actually thought, by the time I'm army age, we won't need the army. It's like that's kind of
Mm,
kid's every kid thinks that by the time they get to the army age, there won't need to be an
right.
army anymore.
Halavai.
Yeah.
Halavai.
Now obviously we know that's probably never going to be the case. But that's
Yeah.
what we all thought as kids. So I thought as kids, I'm going to finish high school. I'm going to go straight to the States, try and play college baseball. That didn't happen. It had to happen after the army, obviously. Um, I played. I got hurt. Had a few elbow surgeries.
Oy.
Yeah, that's part of it. And
Yeah. You were playing as a pitcher,
yeah,
and that
yeah,
and you hadn't stood on a pitcher's mound until you were 17,
yeah, yeah,
which is
pretty much.
amazing.
Yeah. And I remember it was the first time I ever had a pitching coach. Um, was in college.
In college, right?
Yeah, we would have, through the years, we'd have people come from the States or maybe older players that would like try and help you here and there, but
Mm,
nothing consistent, nothing really. Um, so yeah, I went to college. I got hurt. That was kind of a long journey. Um, Finished my college playing days and had an offer to either try and continue to play professionally or start coaching
okay.
summer ball.
Okay.
I got a really good opportunity, and so I decided, with the state of my elbow and I actually needed a third surgery. Um, I decided to. It was a tough decision, but I decided to go for the coaching because it was a really unique opportunity in the Cape Cod.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um,
That's not a bad place to be.
it's the best summer ball league in the country.
Nice.
Um, yeah. So the team that won the last two championships um, gave me an opportunity to be one of their coaches.
Okay.
Um, so we did that, and we actually won the league again, which was cool. Yeah, and then after that, got a call from Seattle Mariners and asked if I wanted to join, um, the coaching side with them in the minor leagues.
Oh,
So,
so you went to so you went to the Mariners
hmm
in their minor league team coaching for them.
hmm
Very nice. This is
yeah,
all after Israel Olympics, or
this is still before.
this is still before?
Yeah,
Uh-huh. So you've been at this a while, like
yeah,
in the profession. Yeah. Okay.
since 2017. That was my first season
Okay. Wow.
in professional baseball. Yeah. So fast forward 2019, I'm coaching in A ball, and
Okay.
the deal with Seattle when I signed, I I always asked for the week or 2 weeks, whatever it was. Like if Israel calls and wants me to play for them, that's the only thing I ask. And
Okay.
they always were great with me like that. And I was able, because of my elbow, I couldn't really pitch for a full season. So I could do it in
Okay.
spurts. I could do it for a week. And then, the elbow kind of gives up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was always able, and like a European championship, it's a week at a time or whatever it is. So I was able to stay in shape, but
Okay.
those weeks would come and I'd play for Israel and whatever. And then in 2019, uh, it was the Olympic qualifiers.
Okay.
but we had a long journey to get there, if that makes sense. Like we had to pass a million different tournaments and
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm sure there's like
Yeah, we had to win a bunch of tournaments.
playing
So
other countries, or is it
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. So it was kind of a unrealistic dream that
yeah.
became a dream all of a sudden, And Seattle let me go play, and uh, next thing you know, we're winning a tournament and another tournament, and we're advancing, and next thing you know, we advanced to the Olympics somehow
What did it feel like that game where it was like crossing the threshold into being Team Israel?
for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like once
Like
we,
what did it like when to in order to qualify to get into the Olympics, you had that final game where whoever
yeah,
it was against. Like
yeah.
what did it feel like when you won that game and like you guys are going to be representing Team
Oh,
Israel in
it
the
was
Olympics?
it was I can't explain it. Pretty surreal. I couldn't believe it's real.
Mm,
Like we're actually going to the Olympics. Uh, and this is 2019, so this is before COVID. Uh,
right, just before, yeah.
yeah, and there was a question in the air of like, are we actually going to go represent Israel? Because what happened was Team Israel and was always native Israelis, guys
Yeah.
like me and all the other guys. And then little by little, they brought Americans, gave them a passport, or Americans that they found had a Israeli passport. Now, slowly, they're taking the place of
Uh-huh.
the native Israelis, right?
I see.
So, if in the first tournament of the qualifiers, we had, I don't know, 12, 13 natives,
Yeah.
by the time we qualified for the Olympics, we were only four of us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
quite a
right.
okay.
So, and that's where my friends give me a hard time. It's like, three and a half, you know? Yeah.
That's
So,
good. That's good.
so when we advanced and we made it to the Olympics, us four and some other guys were like, are we gonna actually be able to go? So it took some time till they officially told us, we're on the Olympic team. But yeah, the it was amazing.
Well, it's so cool.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, I
amazing.
can only imagine like what that must have been. And so following the Olympics and the Olympics, how did you guys do in the Olympics?
Fifth place, did pretty well.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
For a country that doesn't have three baseball fields. That's that's
I
pretty good.
mean, to be fair, it was us four natives and the rest were American born players
Fair
that,
enough.
yeah.
Fair
Um,
enough.
the goal or the hope was that will, you know, help raise money, more awareness, more donations, and then you could build more fields and eventually the team will be all Tzabarim.
Is that one of your goals, by the way, to like bring more baseball to Israel? Like as a representative now here in the States, as an Israeli that
Yeah,
went
I
through
mean
the whole.
it was always kind of the goal to see, how I could give back. Um, right now, I hope that just by representing and showing that, a kid from the kibbutz that grew up in Israel and through the Israeli baseball league and system is
Yeah.
now, coaching in the major leagues. Um, so I hope that just by that, yeah, that can inspire kids. And if you really want, you probably could, you have the opportunity to do it. Um, and yeah, something I take I take pride in. It's like when I was a kid, we were drooling over every ex high school baseball player that came, right? So
You're
just
saying like people that made Aliyah that were like played in high school or
yeah,
whatever?
people that were somehow in Israel just for a few months and heard that there's a
Right.
league and want to come play, and this guy played D3 baseball, and we would gravitate to that. So just having someone that grew up in the system and got to the major leagues, um, I try and be available to those guys. Like some of the younger players they'll reach out and ask for advice or help, placing them in college ball and whatever I could do.
Yeah.
Um, if I can help, I help. If I can't, I can't. But um, just try and be available for those guys. They all know how to find me, and um, if they
No,
need
it's a
anything.
beautiful, that's a
Yeah,
beautiful thing.
yeah.
So,
And then every time I come back home, I try to go home every off season.
oh, you do go,
Yeah, yeah.
so
I
winters you spend in Israel.
Yep.
Okay.
So, I obviously I spend a lot of time with my family and friends over there, but I always find time to, go to a national team practice or go um all the time I go to the kibbutz team. You know,
Yeah.
the kibbutz still has a team, so I go because the coach is there. They were the kids that I was looking up to when I
Right,
was
right,
young.
right.
So it's cool to go and
It's like the
uh,
movie The Sandlot with like, the movie The Sandlot?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you didn't have cable, so
Yeah, we had the VCR at some point.
the VCR, right, right, right. The
Yeah,
Sandlot's like one of the greatest
I
movies
know.
of all. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
we
best.
watched it a lot. We watched it.
Yeah. That's like
Yeah,
that's what you grew up on, like the Israeli version of The Sandlot. That
pretty
was,
much.
yeah. Not a
So
real
yeah, it's cool.
feel,
I
just
go
kind of like,
back. Yeah, you know, I go back. I help out when I can. Uh, part of me, wants to just do nothing with baseball when I'm finally home.
right,
But
right.
I get it. I go, I do it, and I see. I know how important it is. I remember when I was a little kid and someone would come, so try to do my best doing that.
Amazing. That's so take us on the journey from the Olympics to the major leagues.
Yeah, so 2021, I was in double A coaching with the Mariners,
Okay.
and they let me go play for Israel. So I missed a month of season, went to play,
Okay.
finished that year, came back, coached, finished in double A. The next year went to triple A with Seattle. So that was 2022. I was in triple A with Seattle. We had a really good year. And then the Cincinnati Reds called to interview me for a major league position.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I interviewed there. I got the job, and I spent 2023 and 24 in the major leagues with Cincinnati,
With the Reds. Okay.
the Reds. Re-signed for 2025.
Okay.
Yeah, and then was lucky enough that Miami called Cincinnati and asked to hire me. Um,
Amazing.
yeah, and it's pretty much a no-brainer for me to go from
Miami, yeah,
Cincinnati.
Miami's the
Yeah, it was obviously it was a little bit of a upgrade in position and whatever. But I have friends from Israel here. I feel like the life outside of baseball always mattered to me.
yeah,
And I always felt that, during the baseball season, I'm kind of secluded from, like, there's life and then there's the baseball life. And here
right.
in Miami, I feel like I could do both,
That's
you know.
cool. Yeah, I
So
mean, Florida, South Florida especially is basically like the Israel of America,
yeah, no,
you
for
know.
sure. So later tonight, I'm gonna have dinner with a friend from Israel.
Nice.
And that's something that would never happen in Cincinnati.
Right, because no one's coming to Cincinnati unless
Exactly.
everyone comes to Florida. Yeah.
Right. And Israelis live here. Israelis come
Where in
over
South Florida
here.
did you move? Like where are you living
I'm
now?
in Miami,
Oh,
and
just yeah,
yeah, yeah,
nice.
near downtown.
Downtown. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Uh, so yeah, so it's just the combination of life and baseball here is something I couldn't pass up, and I took the job here and hope to be here for a while.
Awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit about like how do you incorporate your Jewish heritage as a baseball coach in the majors? Like you're clearly, you're visibly Jewish, you're Israeli. I mean, and
Yeah.
I know I saw that you wear the dog tags of for the
Yeah.
hostages in support. So
Yeah.
what are some of the what significance is that to you to make sure that that's seen in a very public way? And what maybe are some other areas of your faith that you carry with you even into the baseball field?
Yeah, I mean, I especially with the whole situation back home, um I'm not the guy that's gonna be all loud and you know about stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, with my platform, even like the smallest things, the dog tag, um, the yellow ribbon, um, with Cincinnati, I wore a shirt in Hebrew that said Cincinnati, right?
Okay.
Just
Okay.
yeah, that I would be on the field with. Just to show that I'm a proud Israeli, and that it means a lot to me, and that always sparks conversations. And next thing you know, people see me and say Shabbat Shalom. I have no idea what it means, um,
You're saying
but
they have no idea what it means. Right.
no. Uh, but I think that just by doing that, like a player would say, "Hey, what is this?" And then you start talking about it.
Did you ever have any like negative? It sounds like this is all good and positive stuff.
Yeah,
Anybody
never
ever say
negative.
like, "Oh, Israel is doing blah blah blah," and
No, never.
Baruch Hashem,
Not to
good,
my face, at least.
right?
Yeah.
It
Um,
sounds like you're creating a lot of positive interactions and making a good impact on
yeah,
people.
and a lot of players actually want to come visit Israel. Uh,
Really,
yeah, I mean they
good for
hear
them.
about it, they're
Yeah,
intrigued. I tell them it's the best. Uh, a lot actually, want to come because of the Christian faith.
sure.
Um, and yeah, I mean,
It's funny because all the Israel haters are so loud, but like when push comes to shove, when you look at like especially in American society, most people are pro-Israel. Most people are on Israel's side.
yeah,
Certainly in South Florida.
right, yeah.
Maybe the big cities, maybe New York, LA, whatever, you have like these protests and everything like that. But
I never felt anything in those cities,
good,
you know.
good. Like no, that's the way that it
Yeah, I
should be.
mean, I have gloves that I have a blue and white glove with the Star David on it, and
Yeah.
it's visible out there.
Well,
So
what was like growing up? What was your like your sort of religious affiliation or participation like?
very secular.
Or is it like the kibbutz lifestyle is not
Yeah,
necessarily
yeah.
yeah,
And always proud Israeli, proud to be Jewish,
yeah,
all that. Never shied away from it, but also very busy. And it's like, as a secular Israeli, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I always felt like I'm Israeli. I don't need to do anything to prove I'm Jewish or to like try and keep my Jewish, I don't know, you know, feelings.
you felt that it was like part of your nature
Part
already.
of
You didn't
me,
have to
you know, it's part of me. Like I know all the holidays, I know all the songs.
did October 7th change that at all? Like no, same style. You're like
Yeah,
you are who you are and that's
yeah. To me, that's just part of being an Israeli. Like regardless of how religious you choose to be, right?
sure.
And I do have a lot of conversations about that with my American friends, my non-Jewish friends, because they don't understand how you could be Jewish but not like
Right.
Orthodox, or
Right, right,
they don't
right. In their
understand.
mind, it's yeah,
I could tell them you could be Jewish and not believe in God, but you're as Jewish as everyone else.
right,
And they have a really hard time um, understanding that concept.
right. Like outside the Jewish world, like your religion is like what you believe. So if like a
Mhm.
Christian stops believing in Jesus,
He's
like they're
not
not a
Christian
Christian
anymore.
anymore. Like
Yeah,
same thing with Islam and
yeah,
all the other religions. But like for a Jew, it's more than just a religion. It's
yeah,
like a soul thing. It's who
yeah,
you are. It's the same way you're a human, you're a
yeah,
Jew. And you'll
yeah.
never get rid of that.
Right. So
That's a
it's
hard
like,
concept for people to process.
yeah, they don't understand. It's like, yeah, I'm but you don't practice. So how are you Jewish? I'm like, tough to explain, but it's just it's like a culture thing. It's a heritage thing. It's just part of who I am. I'm Jewish. Do I go to synagogue and wear a kippah and shomer Shabbat? No,
Right.
but I'm Jewish, just like whoever does do all those things.
Right. And you wouldn't be opposed to doing those things. It's just not something that's necessarily part of your
It's not something I choose to do, right? It's just,
right. Right.
yeah,
It's yeah, for someone who's outside of the
yeah,
Jewish world, like it's very difficult to like understand that.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. What would be let's close with let's say what would be let's say like for inspiring the next generation with baseball growing in popularity in Israel and you spending a lot of time in the States, what would be like your key message of inspiration that you would share with either young people or people looking to advance themselves in whatever it is that they're doing, whether it's baseball or something else? What keeps you going that you would maybe want to give over to somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, I was always bad in the inspirational messages, um, because I just always believe it's like you have a dream, you work hard, to achieve it, um, and life kind of takes you in certain ways that you don't necessarily plan, but I do believe that kind of everything that happens for a reason, and you're always going to find your path. Just keep pursuing whatever you want to do, and you'll end up doing just fine.
That's perfect. Doesn't sometimes the inspirational message doesn't have to be like a bumper sticker or
Yeah,
something that you
yeah,
find like on a calendar or something. It's like just be real, just work hard at what you do and you'll get to where you need to be.
yeah. Have a passion to what you do and what you want to do, and you could do whatever you want in this life.